It's been almost 5 years now since Hurricane Katrina. It really decimated the Gulf Coast.
As the Category 3 storm came ashore, it centered on New Orleans. Now, most of us remember the devastation there. The neighborhood hit the hardest was the city's 9th ward. The 9th is the focus of a new book by a New Orleans native who now calls North Texas home. Lynette Wilkinson will join us a little later live tonight. But first, Fox 4's Matt Grubbs is here with one of the stories that compelled Lynette to write her book. Matt.
Heather, what so many of us know about the 9th Ward, especially the lower 9th, we know from Katrina. The floods, the families stranded, the pets, and the people killed by the storm. But the 9th was and is a neighborhood with a history that has not been forgotten. Ed and Leatrice Roberts met half a century ago in New Orleans' 9th Ward.
When I met him, it was at his sister's house, and I didn't know that something was planned.
But planned it was, and Ed fell in love.
I told my mother the next day, I said, I met the girl I'm going to marry. She said, how you know she's going to marry you? I said, you watch.
Ed was right. Over the next 50 years, the couple raised a family and lived their life in the lower 9th. If only they had the pictures to match the memories.
Our niece called and said, that we better get ready because we had to leave.
Few things could cause the couple to miss church. This could.
At Sunday morning.
Yeah, we left that Sunday.
As we were getting ready to go to church.
As Katrina bore down on New Orleans, the Roberts left. Any doubt about their decision has been erased by the experience of their neighbor.
To swim to get on the levee behind our house and go to the bridge where some people were killed.
Ed Roberts watched much of the news coverage, saw his neighborhood sink. Leatrice had to look away.
We never would have been able to make it. We're so grateful that God spared our lives.
The Roberts came to North Texas in the days after the storm. They've stayed in Duncanville, a new church, new friends, a new home. But it's not the same. Leatrice got sick last time she went back to New Orleans to see their son. Up here, Ed doesn't get out as much.
I knew New Orleans. I didn't have a problem there. But the traffic is so heavy and they have so many accidents here.
5 years later, they have each other, have good things in their lives, but they remain changed by the storm of their lives. In Duncanville, Matt Grubbs, Fox 4 News.
Lynette Wilkinson grew up in the 9th Ward. Leatrice Roberts was actually her Sunday school teacher. Lynette now written a book. It's called Untold, the New Orleans 9th Ward You Never Knew. All right, Lynette, you were living in North Texas when Katrina hit. You watched the destruction on television. You watched all those images come into your living room. What did you think when you first saw those things?
My first thought was just, I can't believe it's happening again, because I also went through Hurricane Betsy, and I remember the devastation then. And then just seeing the entire city underwater was just unbelievable.
And you took in, what, 16 family members, all evacuees from New Orleans. I'm sure they had stories to share with you, stories that we probably didn't hear about. There were so many, so much tragedy people there went through.
That's true. The ones who did make it out before the storm actually hit, what they talked about was, first of all, just planning to come for 2 or 3 days. This is the way it normally went. You left for the hurricane and you came back. So imagine their shock when they learned that they would not be able to return home, and you only have 2 or 3 days worth of clothing. When they arrived, they were in shock, just like I was, and their needs were basic but so great. Food, shelter, clothing, a job, transportation. But by the grace of God, we made it. We turned our living room into a dormitory. People donated clothing and food, and we were able to make it.
Well, and that's what so many people did. They came together to help those folks in need. Hey, tell us why you wrote the book. Tell us why it was important for you to do that.
Well, first of all, the book is God-inspired. But aside from that, I had a very strong desire to let the world know that the people of the lower 9th Ward were hardworking, they're community-minded, family-oriented people, and that they were contributing members of society. And this is something that probably was not very evident from the images we saw directly after Katrina. The other thing is I wanted to make a tangible contribution to the people who are living there. And so I thought, I'm a writer, why not write a book and then donate the proceeds to an organization that's helping the people to recover. And then third is just to give back. You see me as I am now, but there was where it all started.
So what do you see when you look at New Orleans now 5 years later, a city Still with a long way to go, a city with hope. What do you see?
I see definitely a city with hope. And the areas, it really depends on where you go. In the area of the lower Ninth Ward, there still is a lot of development to come back. In the block where our home was, there's one neighbor who's back, one neighbor in the block before, and then one in the block after. So there really isn't a lot of the residents have not been able to return.
And any plans for you to return soon?
I will return and visit. In fact, I'm planning to go in October to talk about my book, but Dallas is my home now.
All right. Thank you, Lynette. Hey, you've got a copy there of your book with you as well.
I do.
Want to hold that up so everybody can see
Absolutely.
the cover there? All right, the book is going to be released on Sunday, which is the 5-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. And as you mentioned, proceeds go to help Ninth Ward residents rebuild their lives. We want to let all our viewers know. To find out how you can get a copy, we have a link to Lynette's website on our website, myfoxcfw.com. You've got a book signing coming up this Sunday as well, so go to the website and you can find out about that. Lynette Wilkinson, thanks very much.
Thank you.